represents tightness in the cervical extensors and lengthening of the cervical flexors. To demonstrate this point, a trainer can place one thumb on his or her manubrium, top of the sternum, and the index finger of the same hand on the chin. Slowly slide the head forward and observe how the spacing between the fingers increases, representing the change in muscle length. An alternative option for observing forward head position is via the alignment of the cheekbone and the collarbone. With good posture, they should almost be in vertical alignment with each other. To demonstrate this point, have a client place one finger on his or her collarbone, aligned under the cheek, and place another finger on the cheekbone, aligned under the eye. From the sagittal plane, the trainer can observe the vertical alignment of the two fingers.
What's going on, everybody, and welcome to the video. I have just finished up with all of my computer work that I needed to get done before I head out, and also have got my food in, and I am pretty much ready to go. And a few videos ago I mentioned that I would be doing a Q&A, and that will be this video a little bit later on. When I get home from the gym, I will be answering all of those questions that you guys left on my Instagram post and that you left on that video. So stay tuned. Yep. Come on. Alright, so just got back home from the gym, and now I'm going to be answering the Q&A questions that y'all left either on Instagram, Twitter, or YouTube. So the first questions I'm going to be answering is off of Instagram, and I have my phone here, and I have it plugged in my ear so I can hear the questions and then answer them for you guys. So the first question is from musical underscore strength off of Instagram, and they asked, their neck bothers them when doing overhead tricep extensions or standing skull crushers. Do I have any tips or suggestions for why this might be? And really the only thing that I can think of is, is make sure you are getting stretched out as far as your triceps, your shoulders, even your back, and just make sure you're getting loosened up and warmed up before you do these exercises, as well as anything overhead press such as shoulder press or really anything like that. Be careful not to strain your neck while you do the exercise. So you want to have your head in a neutral position. I know when you do a shoulder like this, a shoulder press, or even like skull crushers, the tricep extensions above your head, like you're saying, that you can really like push with your neck, just try to get the weight up, and you can strain your neck there. And that's really the only things I can think of why you might be having troubles out of your neck doing those exercises, is you are straining your neck trying to move the weight and do the exercises. I have actually tweaked my trap. I believe it was my trap. It was actually on this side when I was doing shoulder press, and I went to get the weight up, and when I went to get it up, I was straining my neck and tweaked something there. So definitely be careful with that and try not to strain your neck when doing those exercises. So the next question is from Brad Shavikin 8809, and that's the way Ava reads it on my phone. I'm sorry, I just butchered your name. But he asked, when am I going to be starting my contest prep? And that will be 2 weeks from May 28th. I believe today's date is May 16th. So I'm going to be I've decided on an 18-week prep to I can maybe, kind of ensure that I don't peak too soon as far as my dieting goes and cutting. So 2 weeks into June from May 28th. May 28th marks 20 weeks out from my competition. So I will be doing an 18-week prep, so you can look forward to it a couple weeks, like a week and a half or so into June. So the first week and a half, the second week in June, that is when we will start cutting and dropping weight and preparing for this competition. 115th_Patriot commented on Instagram, do I ever try to imagine my physique? And I don't know exactly what he was trying to ask, but I guess, I've had my vision up until a year ago, so I've really had my vision up until I weighed about 165 pounds, so I haven't really changed too much from when I could see. Now, I've never dieted down to the extreme to compete in a competition when I could see, so I do, of course, try to imagine myself, and I do in the gym feel my muscles and feel my shoulders and try to get symmetry, and I know I've gotten bigger since then, so of course I do try to imagine myself and imagine what I look like, and I don't know if I would say I imagine myself looking better or worse, and in all honesty I would say I imagine myself worse than I actually am, and I think that's with everybody in their self-image of themselves, how they see themselves, but I obviously can't see myself for real. Okay, over onto YouTube now, and we're going to be answering the questions you commented on the video. And Nathan Tracy commented, what is going to be the difference in my dieting, switching from a bulking style eating to cutting and preparing for my competition? And in all honesty, there's not going to be much difference. I will try to cut out, I really don't eat much bad food or much unhealthy foods. Of course, I do have a little bit of cheating here and there. The main difference between going from bulking to cutting for myself, excuse Cooper. Oh, I went too bad. Okay, but the main difference for myself is going to be I will be tracking my macros, and I will be ensuring that I am getting all the nutrients that I need, and I will just be monitoring my macros and the way my body reacts, and making sure I'm getting enough macronutrients along with micronutrients, so vegetables and all of those things, as well as fiber. So it won't be too much of a difference. I try to eat clean as much as I possibly can, because the cleaner I eat, even when bulking, I will be putting on lean muscle rather than putting on just weight. So that's why, if you notice, I don't really gain much weight. Even when bulking, I'm a slow bulker, I'm a hard gainer, so my diet won't change too drastically much. It will just be more of a monitored thing. My macros are going to be monitored, and I will be adjusting it along the way throughout the 18-week prep. So I hope that answered your question. The next question is going to be Kevin Clemens, and he asked, will I have to have help going out on stage for my competition? And considering this is my first competition, and of course the guy that I have helped me at the gym posing, he is probably going to be the one that's going to be backstage with me, kind of guiding me through everything and be back there with me, and I believe he will actually walk me out on stage. And I have to pick out 60 seconds of music to do as my personal routine that night at the finals, or whatever they call it. I'm not sure. I would like to walk out there by myself with my stick, but then again, I don't know how it's all going to work out. I'm 90% sure I'm probably just going to have someone out there guide me out there, and then I'll get set up. But once I get set up and I'm in my spot, I will be good, and hopefully the guys in the lineup, whoever is beside me, they don't get mad at me if I bump them. And also, I know if you've ever seen in the competition, the pre-judging, when you have all the bodybuilders lined up there, they might say, hey, number 54, I want you to switch for number 35. And if that happens, I will definitely have to have someone come out there and grab. I think they have people on the stage, so they'll definitely be friendly and help me and help move me if I need to be moved. So I'm not too worried about it, and I definitely think someone will just walk out there on stage with me, especially if there's a platform. I'm not sure if there's going to be a platform on stage or not, but we will cross that bridge when it comes. All right, so Tasty Feeds asked how, the psychological side of things, as far as the psychological or mental things of losing my sight, and I guess how I took it, the initial, when I found out what was happening, what was going on, and compare that to the way I am now, considering I tried to have as much of a positive outlook on things and be as optimistic as possible. So I never really, it never really was like a smack in the face. I mean, it wasn't like this, it wasn't like I woke up and I was blind, so I was kind of prepared when it just kind of slowly started coming on, and I was trying to be as positive as possible, thinking that it might have been this or this or this, but the genetic thing, which is what I actually have, was the last and final option, I guess. But I honestly, it was never a very negative thing. I was honestly just, the way I am now was the way I have been the whole time. Now, to be honest, yes, there has been, I guess dark times, or times where I would get down as far as getting frustrated while I would be doing something, or like when I was at work and I just simply wouldn't be able to do it just because I couldn't see, and that was the reason that I couldn't do something. That would get to me, and there's all kinds of little things that would get to me or frustrate me and get me down sometimes, but it wouldn't last long. It would either be a day at the most, and really it would never even be that long. So I have been optimistic and positive about the whole thing, and the really just the transition from going when I could see to not being able to see. So yeah, that's really, I guess, the psychological, the mental side of it, and I've tried to stay as positive as possible, and hopefully we will continue to be optimistic and positive throughout the journey. So Sly, he asked, what is my view on supplements as far as supplementation and taking supplements with working out? And of course, this is a billion-dollar industry with working out, and we all know there's all kinds of sales pitches and all kinds of stuff about supplements, and my personal opinion is they are not necessary. You don't need them. There's really not one supplement that you need to take. And as y'all all may notice, I personally don't really take any supplements. If I do take any supplements, I do supplement protein, but protein is protein. If you get all your protein from food, then you don't even need to drink protein. It's just a kind of an extra way to ensure that you're getting enough protein in your diet. So my view on supplements is they're not necessary, and there's only a few that I would take. Multivitamins is one, just to ensure you're getting your vitamins and your micronutrients that are necessary to have in your diet. But then again, all supplements you can get from food, so it's not like it's something that you need, and it's not something that you have to have. And most supplements I just really don't take. I take pre-workout and protein. That's really my main two, and when I start cutting, I will probably have some BCAAs in there as well, and then I do supplement some fish oil in there just because it's good for anti-inflammatory as well as your heart and things like that. So there's a few that I would throw in there, but most of it is just healthy stuff, not these crazy supplements that you take this and you build muscle instantly, or you gain 10 pounds, or you gain strength. Or I don't believe in stuff like that. I think it's a sales pitch and a money gimmick. So supplements are not really that necessary, and I have never been one to consistently really take any supplements besides protein and pre-workout. Those two are really the only supplements that I've ever consistently taken, or yeah, really that's it. Since the 6 years I've been working out, pre-workout and protein, that's really all I have ever taken. It's either Nas_ or Maz_ asked, he is stuck at 9 pull-ups and his goal is to reach 20 pull-ups, and he's been stuck here for a few months. Do I have any recommendations or tips to try to push through this plateau? And I do. Now, I do believe that calisthenics are a very good way to gain strength, and honestly just hypertrophy as well. Body weight exercises are great, such as pull-ups. But what I would recommend doing is maybe adding some resistance. So maybe adding a belt if you have that option to have a belt on your just a belt and a chain, and you can add some weights to it, and you might be able to get 5 or 6 with some additive weights to add some resistance, and do that for a few sets, and then drop the weight and then bang out as many as you can as just with your body weight. You can do that. I mean, even if you don't have a belt and a chain and weights like that, you can hold a dumbbell between your feet. If you don't have that, you can throw a backpack on your back and throw some books in it. So you can either do that. I think resistance will help you gain some strength and explode on that positive, and on that eccentric motion on the way down, really focus on controlling that weight, and don't let your scapula retract at the bottom. Make sure you keep it retracted back at the bottom and then explode up and control on the way down with the negative, even with resistance. And then another thing that you can possibly do is you can, instead of just doing normal pull-ups, as many as you can, go up about halfway, or go do a full rep, and on the way back down, halfway on the way back down, just hold right here. Just hold it for as long as you can, and then once you hold it for 10-15 seconds, go back down, try to go up again, and then if you can get another one, go back down and hold it. Just pause at random points throughout your pull-up and just hold it there. Focus on squeezing that muscle, and I think that will help you out as well. And just mixing up your routine. I'm not sure like the sets or the numbers that you do with your pull-ups, but if you mix it up and try a few different things, that's like throwing in resistance, just pausing throughout your reps, simple things like that, and just tricking your muscles and changing it up, you'll definitely start to increase. And then every now and then, you know, see what that number is and see if you start increasing above 9. You might start to be able to get 12 or whatever. I mean, I know your goal is 20, which I believe you can definitely get 20. I wouldn't say pretty easily, but if you keep working at it and kind of change up your routine and just figure out a few different things, I think resistance is one of my favorite to gain strength, especially with pull-ups or things like that. For me personally, I haven't really done resistance with pull-ups, but as an example, dips, I can, with body weight, I can bang out, I know I can get at least 30 dips, proper dips, with body weight. Now I can do 2 to 3 plates resistance, and that's getting like 5 or 6 reps. So resistance is definitely going to help you gain the strength there. I think it's gun underscore gladiator. I'm probably butchering all these names, but he asked, did I have overly red eyes before I lost my sight? And the answer to that question is no. There was no signs or anything for me on losing my sight. It just started going. The first symptom that I noticed was I started losing sight in my left eye. So my eyes was not overly red. They weren't red at all. So I just randomly, one day, I noticed a little spot when I was playing basketball, and then when I was working out, I noticed that same little spot, and it kind of just started growing. So yeah, so that's basically the only thing. There was no warning signs to it at all. Alright, so this is probably my favorite question out of all the questions. This is the last question that was asked, and it was by Courdse Francisco, I believe his name on YouTube, and he asked, do or will I get help manscaping for my competition? And manscaping, you know, you're shaving my body, getting prepared, because we gotta be hairless and be all sleek and smooth when we go on stage. And I mean, that's gonna be really the only time that I shave my complete body. But and the answer to that question, and he also commented, said the only reason he asked this question is that one of his roommates in college competed and that he needed help, I guess, shaving his back, which is understandable. But luckily, I don't really have a hairy back, and I guess that's really the only area that I can't reach. I guess if there is any hair on there, I might get my mom to shave my back. But all the other areas, and especially, I mean, I can't see, but I can feel it. I don't need help. No, I can definitely do it all myself. It'll probably take me a whole lot longer than it would you guys, but I'll just take my time, and then after I get done, I will probably go back over and just feel everything to make sure it's all sleek and smooth and I didn't miss any spots, and then we'll be good to go. So I won't really need help manscaping. Luckily, I don't have an overly hairy body or an overly hairy back, so I thought that was pretty funny. That was a good question. So that's going to bring this Q&A to an end, and that's going to also bring this video to an end. I hope this answered all of your questions like you expected, or answered them, you know, gave you an answer to them. And I enjoy doing these. Let me know what you think about this video, and I enjoy interacting and talking to you guys. So yeah, that's going to bring this one to an end. So if it's your first time stopping in on the channel, please subscribe. And as always, guys, thank you so much for watching, and keep getting stronger.